fuck are you? Where the fuck am I? No, I don't want to go to Brazil. You can't make me go to Brazil. Anywhere but Brazil. Welcome everyone. The jungles of Brazil await. It's not that bad here. I mean, most things will kill you, but that's the least of your worries. Just like a Roth IRA retirement plan, capital and assets are king. These will force you to loop in this abominable land forever, killing unending monsters until your body finally goes into anaphylactic shock after not getting a Velcana crystal. But do not fret, you will learn to love the grind and eventually become the grind, kicking off your quests of endless wants with little chances of long-term satisfaction. That's the Monster Hunter way, baby!
Wow, you're telling me Capcom created all this?
You're away.
Before Capcom became the drunken stepfather it is today, they created Monster Hunter in 2004, with the original Monster Hunter releasing in Japan for the PlayStation 2. But this was eventually brought to the West under the name Monster Hunter Freedom, selling 1.3 million copies. This warranted a sequel under the name of Monster Hunter Freedom 2, which sold 3.8 million copies respectively. Originally for the PS2, it came to the PSP and iOS much later on, and established the Monster Hunter series being cross-platform. Due to its success being cross-platform, it set the precedent that Monster Hunter games should come out on both handheld devices and main consoles. This set the precedent for the next two installations to be a handheld market at the forefront when developing the series. I mean, who the fuck wants to play Monster Hunter game on the Wii? I'm looking at you, Monster Hunter Try. So Capcom responded to the portable version of the game, selling 3 times as much as the main console game, by making Monster Hunter 4 exclusively for the 3DS. And it did fine, I guess. But in 2018, Capcom became ambitious for the first time ever, and they had released a new Monster Hunter game on Xbox One and PS4. Next-gen Monster Hunter, under the name of Monster Hunter World, made the series into a titan and became the best-selling game Capcom has ever made. Yeah, fuck you, Dante, from the hit Capcom series Devilman Crybaby 5. He's better in our game anyways. Around a year later, it released on PC and I could finally get my hands on it. And I dropped it after a week. Well, then I restarted during the... And suddenly Brazil doesn't seem so bad. The staple of all Monster Hunter gameplay is the ecosystems that you traverse, exploring these marvelous areas in order to hunt their apex predators. How you go about this is up to you, until you run into an Anjanath and get stumped. All the areas in the game are vastly different, and have their own monsters and ecology so that one can use their knowledge of the map to benefit them. This knowledge can be applied when trying to track monsters, because, like leads, they never leave the same 3 areas and will attack you on sight if you insult their waifu. However, some monsters tend to wander the map just to fuck you. For example, the Basil Goose, like an F-50 jet, will drop bombs on you as if you're a Syrian refugee. Though if you don't know where monsters live, or if you're hunting something that wanders like the Basil Goose, the scout fly mechanic actually covers you pretty well. Even your techno-boomer father can see it when it highlights things like monster tracks and other environmental damages a monster leaves and guides you towards them. That's a mighty large monkey, son. Knowing the map also gives the player a lot of offensive advantages. A few of these examples include natural traps and wildlife that can be triggered by the player. These tend to cripple the monsters, crippled like a few other things that we know of right now that are currently happening. The map is also very important for crafting items that you will need on hunts. Early game, you have to gather things like herbs, honey, and bugs to make items that can heal and cure ailments. Though in late game, the emphasis on this is way less prevalent due to the botany mechanic, which is as riveting as watching a 401k build interest, leading you to get lots of resources that you will never use. There's also a lot of emphasis on preparation for monsters by using specific types of weapons, armor, and decorations. Depending on the armor or decoration, you can gain gain resistance to ailments or gain boons like increased attack power or more invincibility frames so you can pretend this game is Dark Souls. Failure to prep for such monsters in mid or late game will constantly cause you to question why you picked up the game in the first place, as you no longer deal any form of damage and get constantly stunned by Kieran. God, I fucking love this game. The spiral downward begins, and eventually you min-max the fuck out of your armor and gems, but you will only look up builds because Angry Monkey. The game's difficulty progression depends on where you are in the story. In low rank, you can get away with not prepping for most monsters and using most weapons that you want, as long as they have some form of effectiveness. However, once you get to high rank, you're going to have to start prepping for monsters, and it gets sort of difficult if you do not. Master rank, however, goes the full Gary Gygax route, and if you don't properly prepare for them with weapons, armor, items, and decorations that can counter the monster, you're gonna have a bad time. Though using master rank gear and decorations to hunt high rank and low rank monsters is quite cathartic, because finally Nergigante will be forced to pay his taxes as I bash his head in with a charge blade.
Attention all hunters, the Eater of Elders Nergigante has been spotted in Elder's Recess, and he has not paid his taxes. Hunters, since he has failed to pay his taxes, he will pay with his life. Go get him!
Great job, hunters. Tax evasion is no more.
The monsters in this game are the main selling point, and even the middle-aged surfer that is the Great Jagras is pretty damn cool, and they only get cooler as you progress. The difficulty is based on where you are in the story, and your character scales up based on the gear you wear rather than a traditional experience system. As you're tearing your way through the story, you stumble upon stronger and more varied monsters, and their AI is pretty good, with many monsters having many actions that don't include murdering you and your teammates. They wander around the map, eat creatures, and sometimes even fight other monsters in their territory, leading to some cool battles. Their AI also takes advantage of the ecosystem around them. For example, the Banburo will take snow and other debris from the ground and turn it into a ball to smash you with. Even though the Banburo takes advantage of the environment in this aspect, not all monsters can do it. But what's something they can do is called scuffed hitboxes. It's a little known secret in the Monster Hunter community that allows new players to get lured into a false sense of security, thinking the hitboxes will be fair and balanced. But then no, a Velkhana beam can go through giant fucking tree trunks. But other than this, they start to get really big and have crazier abilities that will make you shit yourself. You better prepare for the legendary Super Saiyan Rajang, or you'll get turned into paste with its lightning kung fu fuckery. Fine. I don't take much damage. Oh, never mind. Monkey. As I said from earlier, this game has 3 stages: low, high, and master rank. A low rank monster could be a joke, like the Rathalos. It does not seem that big of an issue and it can be bullied rather effectively. However, once you get into master rank, it will claw your eyes out and call you slurs demeaning your various races and ethnicities, all while your teammates feel getting it the fuck out of the air because no one brought any goddamn flash pods. While you're recoiling from the disappointments your teammates have caused you, you can admire the beauty of the monster's visual and audio designs. The monster designs in this game are stellar, making these beasts look real and sometimes very terrifying.
Which I find incredibly annoying and evil.
Even though some of the base models get reused for the less important monsters, I will say that each monster having its own unique moveset and quirks makes it really fun to hunt them. All the monsters are super well designed and look great in the areas they roam. Wow, it's almost like the monsters are well done in a game called Monster Hunter. Who would have thought? The monsters are cool, but have you ever felt the satisfaction of making your parents proud? Me neither. Let's talk about mechanics instead. The crafting system is where most of your hours will go in this game because in order to get specific weapons and armor, you must grind out monsters and get specific materials. For with weapons, you have to upgrade the worst version of that weapon, leading you to kill many different monsters or the same monsters multiple times just to get the best version of that weapon. Armor is a bit more forgiving because you can just craft it, but good luck if it requires multiple of a rare drop because you will question your life choices after killing Sharish Volith for the 10th time just for a few skulls. As you upgrade said weapons and armor, the weapons get stronger and the numbers go up. However, the armor gives you different elemental bonuses and bonuses to wearing an entire set. This is where the min-maxing starts, because most pieces of armor give you a buff that applies to your entire character. Combining armor sets can maximize your efficiency of these buffs to make your character way more powerful. For example, in one of my main greatsword builds, I use a Velkhana set in order to gain the ability to quickly draw and attack with my weapon. But I also use the Tentacle Greaves from the Namiel set because it gives me stamina surge, and it gives me slots for extra gems so I can min-max based on the fight, leading all armors to give some form of synergy or allow you to have the flexibility to put gems on and fix your problems.
But Crescent, no man. What if my armor set does not have the buffs I want?
You can go fuck yourself because the gem system exists. Gems can be equipped to your armor and weapons, and they give similar buffs to the armor. You don't have health boost and you're feeling pretty shit? Well, you can slap it on with a gem because they're hella common. So, gems are normally made to make up for your armor's weaknesses. This will allow you to prep for basically any monster. You can also prep for monsters by bringing gadgets and armor, as well as mantles, depending on the monster you're fighting. Is the Anjanath a problem? Wear fire-resistant armor, gems, and get the fireproof mantle, and unlike your father, he will never hurt you again. There are a ton of weapons in this game, and each have their own unique playstyle and are quite fun once you get the hang of them. And some even have better matchups against specific monsters based on their movesets and abilities. But if you choose like one or two, you should be fine for the most part. Alright, let's speedrun talking about them all, baby! The Sword and Shield is the basic bitch weapon. You're quick and have good defensive options. The damage is alright. This is the epitome of a Redditor weapon because they are well-rounded, however painfully mediocre in groups due to not being good at anything. Longsword, weeb as fuck, cutting faster than a 14-year-old Wall Street's bet moderator looking at the Robin Hood account. It's pretty cool. You can do big anime moves and charge your anime meter to do anime things. While you cosplay as a bleached character, you can use Spirit Slashes and, like every Longsword player, miss the Helm Splitter when the monster is downed. Daggers are for those who are edgier than a 15-year-old's first D&D character. They deal high amounts of damage and have lots of mobility. Cringe mode allows them to attack a lot in a quick succession with high DPS, but makes them immobile. Great pick for zoomers. The Lance is like the gym bro in this relationship. Can take most hits, but deals their damage over time by being up close and personal to a monster. Every Lance player fears when the monster roars and jumps away, because they are slower than the CCP's invasion of Taiwan. Well, unless they're going very slow. Overall, the playstyle takes advantage of the shield tanking most damage and will allow you to deal consistent damage if played right. The Gun Lance is the Lance's brother who has gone way too far with steroids and methamphetamines. It thinks Pennzoil is the only viable pre-workout concoction, and I cannot help but agree. This Chad can do everything the Lance can do and more. Think of it like the German monster creation of the Schwerwehr Gustav. By using artillery, you can erase creatures with your portable railgun. Hella slow, but if a railgun were fast, we'd have a lot more problems on our hands. But it also has a very similar playstyle to the Lance, with more variants due to the Wyvern ammo. Hammer, bonk, spin to win, break face, bunga bunga. You deal lots of damage and you can break parts like the face and legs very easily. Very slow but has some of the best damage per hit in the game. The Greatsword is for those who feel a little too nostalgic for Final Fantasy VII Remake and want to cosplay Guts from Berserk. It has a lot of big damage and it's very easy to use, but it's kind of slow. But it has that nut moment when you do the spinny slash that won't ever get old. Overall, similar playstyle to the Hammer, but has some more variants and moveset. It has the highest DPS in the game. The Insect Blade makes you into a flying Beyblade that shoots out insects to reap buffs from your enemies. The only flying-based weapon in the game, you act as a wasp that terrorizes specifically cancer-based patients due to how annoying you are. You will relentlessly attack outside the range of a monster while gymnasticking around like some sort of autistic Spider-Man. Great mobility pick and deals consistent damage due to how hard it is being hit. Hey, an axe you switch to when your blade has run out of power? Oh, a blade you charge with by attacking with it? I know the perfect names for these. Just kidding, that would be too simple. The Charge Blade is where you use a sword and shield to charge up your files, which then can switch to an axe mode to deal big damage, whereas the Switch Axe is where you charge up a blade, and when it's out of charge, you recharge it with the axe. I don't know how Capcom would fuck up something this simple, but whoop-de-fucking-do, they did. Both deal a fuck ton of damage and represent the ADHD of the user that can never stay on one weapon.
The bow is the most forgettable weapon in the Monster Hunter community, as I am recording this in post after finishing the video and forgetting about it. Nobody identifies as a bow player, but they exist, a legion of underground insects that kite around you and use different types of ammos to ruin your day. It allows you to play at varying distances and take advantage of the ammo system. Has solid, consistent damage, and the Dragon Piercer is cool as fuck, even though it reminds me of Hanzo from Overwatch.
The light bowgun is the tried and true support range class and is respectable like the loyal stalwart injecting you with fire for every fight. They keep you alive so the monster can die quicker, and they buff you with all things under the sun, but are not the best damaging range class. However, as support class, they are insanely nice to have on cunts and have hidden powers when using the correct ammo types. The heavy bowgun is what Americans think is a reasonable concealed carry, and even in America, this weapon is illegal in California, New York, and Massachusetts. However, ignore the peons because this price is worth it, because you get more DACA. High damage precision, you will be erasing monsters with this war crime of a weapon. This weapon takes advantage of ranges. By being in the correct range, you deal the most damage. I cannot play this weapon for I am too small brain, but other people are way better than me. The final weapon on this list is the fucking Chad Hunting Horn. The opposite of the basic bitch-ass sword and shield, the Chad Hunting Horn has notes and songs that buff your entire team, making them indispensable during a hunt. With high damage buffs, the Chad Hunting Horn player will steal your girl and all the credit for the hunt while playing sickest beats of Astera. 10 out of 10 weapon, the best in the game.
It's time. I'll keep my farewell brief. Never was much with words. Once you board this ship, there's no turning back. The next ground your feet will touch will be that of the new world. If any of you have lost your nerve, then step away now, and let no one judge you. Very well. Then sail safe and strong, and may the Sapphire Star light your way.
The Monster Hunter story unfolds with a colorful cast of characters from the Fifth Fleet as you struggle to explore the new world. This world is full of elder dragons and other things and unnatural phenomena that are happening, and your job is to find out what it is and study it, due to you guys being mainly researchers instead of exterminators. The main storyline has you tracking down the elder dragons. There are around 5 of them in the area, as well as the movements of a monster called Zoro Magdaros. Zoro Magdaros is a lava-based carrot-faced monster that is the size of a Godzilla. He's very cool, and in fact you see him a lot throughout the story. Also, other monsters like Nergigante and other elder dragons that are exposing the fauna to different forms of venom. This is the focal point of the game, and everything else is only an add-on.
You think anyone gives a semblance of a shit about this game's awful fucking story? I only give a shit about the fucking monkey and the black dragon! Everything else is fucking worthless! No, I don't give a shit about the fucking handler! And no, I don't give a shit about the fucking commander! Actually, it's kind of cool. But how about that? Fuck all these fucking monsters! I'm only here to kill them!
Hello, Ed Boys! Many doors yet? Too much for couch potato Ed Boys.
A strong suit of the Monster Hunter games is their music and sound design. They're very solid for the most part, and though there are some weird issues with ambience, noise and environments sound just like you're observing an actual ecosystem. Monsters' actions and movements sound terrifying. I love it. Nothing says hulking super monster than its ear-piercing scream. The music is also solid. The hub worlds of Astera and Celiana have super relaxing instrumentals, as well as the gathering hubs have quite beautiful orchestral movements that make you feel, bewildered. In contrast to most Monsters themes, which are done with loud orchestras, adding tensions to already great fights. Highlights of this soundtrack include the Nergigante, Brachydios, and Volcana themes. Overall, there's not too much to comment on the sound design other than it's really fucking good. Go listen to it. Great music.
Monster Hunter World, more like Monster Hunter 4B. Back in my day, you had to hire those sucked too. You couldn't. There's no fighting styles. The fuck is my trailer? They are easy. The range out of that area is totally fun. And on health is a gang. What is this Dark Souls mechanic? Easy mode. Tell me otherwise. Filthy casual. You didn't bring your fishing rod, pickaxe, whetstone, and bug net? Wait, they don't take up inventory slots anymore? Oh my god, they ruined this game. I have seen these cringe opinions and have decided to erase them with my King Crimson!
Now that I've talked about the senior citizens' complaints, I can talk about its real flaws. A big flaw in this game is that it is a traditional JRPG, and grinding is as normal as your math teacher failing if we're saying 2 + 2 = 5. So buckle up, because late game will make you grind if you want good gear. This JRPG also gave me a gambling addiction. Similar to slot machines, I kill monsters over and over again to get 1% drops. But instead of your grandma losing her card at the casino because she lost for the 3rd night in a row, I lose my 40-hour work week because I've been playing Monster Hunter for 14 hours.
Oh, I get it. So this 100-year-old sandwich is sure to please Mr. Cranky Pants. It's a magazine! It's been holding out on us! Chicks galore, huh?
I didn't even know they had magazines like that.
The second sin of this video game is that it has the hitboxes of a PlayStation 2 licensed game. Even Nicktoons Battle for the Night actually has fair hitboxes compared to this awful fucking game. Have you ever gotten hit by a Velcana beam through a tree? That shit ain't fun. That shit's fucking awful. The third sin of this game is that its online competes with how shitty Nintendo Online is. You alt tab, you get disconnected. You shift tab, you get disconnected. You fiddle with your dick in the wrong fucking way, and you get disconnected. I've had more disconnects than Windows errors on my Windows Vista PC from 2006. When you're not constantly disconnecting, it's pretty good. It's only a problem if you like alt tab or shift tab, and I have no fucking clue what it does on consoles because those things are cursed to me. Also her, I'm not gonna say why. If you don't know, you will know. Though I was initially turned off to Monster Hunter World, it has been a consistent time black hole that I play regularly with the boys. It has stellar mechanics and environments with tons of content and playstyles to keep the game interesting. Monster Hunter World also consistently delivers with great environments and music that keep me captivated in the game, even though the story is god-awful. I have never played a game that has monster AI and monsters that look this good and feel this good to fight. And hunting in a party of 4 is actually really fun. And if you do want to get to the Iceborne content, there is options to speedrun through the main game, mainly the Defender gear, but it's there, and if I had to do it again, I would. This game can be a grind, especially if we want the best armor and weapons, but I'd still do it in a heartbeat. Even though this game has less than stellar online and problems with the hitboxes, I still think it is a game worth your money and worthwhile. I'm not sure if it's an obsession at this point, but I cannot stop, and you won't either. The nice thing about Monster Hunter World is that since it's at the end of its life cycle, it's pretty damn cheap. Steam was selling it on the Steam sale for around $20, though other sites like Fanatical and GOG do have it at the same price, or you can do what I do and look at Yemenese markets and find the cheapest version of your video games. Don't worry, I won't tell. I will see you when I inevitably upload in 2022. Later, gnomes. I'll see you whenever.
Hey you, yes you, I see you that you've not clicked that subscribe button. As of right now, almost 90% of the viewers of my channel are unsubscribed. You know, please don't be that guy. Come on, do it. Do it now. Click the button. Click the button and no one gets hurt, Jeff. Come on, Jeff, no one will get hurt if you just click the button.